Hello, and welcome to the Victory Loves Company podcast. I'm Conrad Agderian, and today we're going to talk about the dreaded bad review. I'm going to explain why negative reviews aren't so bad after all, and I'm going to stick to online feedback only at this point. In-person feedback I can address at a different show. So, if you own a business or you work for yourself, eventually, there's no way around it, bad reviews are going to happen. And yes, it sucks, but it's not a bad thing. As your business grows, odds are you're going to see more and more of them. Seeing one of your customers say something bad, and sometimes often hurtful and occasionally personal things about you or your business online platforms such as Google, Bing, Yelp, Facebook, Twitter, Yellow Pages, blogs, or pretty much anywhere online, you really can't help but take it personal and act out of emotion. The first mental hurdle I want you to jump with any negative review is to first not take them personally. I know that it is your default emotion, which is fine, but allow yourself some time for the dust to settle and for the passions to come down a little bit. If you have 40 reviews, and 3 of them are bad, and you let those 3 get to you, then how are you going to deal with 50 bad reviews, or even 250 bad reviews? If you're getting more bad reviews than good feedback, then perhaps it's time to reevaluate your business model. If you're a drug dealer, then I'm sorry, I can't help you either way. Although I think Pablo Escobar was a billionaire. I don't think he got bad food. All right, anyway. There are some key points I want you to understand here that can help you reframe your thinking about bad reviews. The very first thing I learned when I went into business for myself, and this was even before I got my very first negative review, is rule number 1. You can't please everybody. And when you try to please everybody, what ends up happening? Nobody gets happy, yourself included, so it's not worth getting stressed out over. Your business, your methods, your way of thinking, your routine aren't always going to be right for everyone. And believe it or not, that's actually an awesome thing, because you can't be a great fit for everyone. You'd be hard-pressed to find a company who is. As beloved as Disney World, Costco, and Amazon are here in the United States, and the vast array of products and experiences they offer to us, there are going to be people out there that are going to talk crap about them. A bad review often stems from a few different reasons. A customer can discover that your product or your service is not a right fit for them. Their expectations of you were not met, or they were simply misinformed. Plus, the sad reality is not everybody is going to read through your website, which is annoying because then what's the point of having a website in the first place if people are not going to read the content in it? Another key point is that bad feedback will present you with a unique opportunity. People screw up, that's a fact. Ergo, businesses screw up. It happens. It's happened to me many times, I can tell you that much. But when it does happen, an interesting opportunity emerges. If you can recover from your mistake or minimize the damage, you can actually build a stronger relationship with the customer than you had initially. Good customer service isn't about completely eliminating or avoiding mistakes, but rather than how well you actually deal with the mistake. Let me give you an example. About 6 Decembers ago, I was playing a Christmas gig. It was a corporate event that I was contracted to provide a milk chocolate fondue fountain for about 100 coworkers with fresh fruits. I call them dipping items. Well, lo and behold, after a 50-minute drive, I arrived at my destination. I go to unload, and I realize that I forgot the damn fountain. Words cannot describe what a gut-wrenching feeling that was to open up my trunk to realize that one of the most important pieces of equipment were not there. This would pretty much be the equivalent of hiring a DJ and having them forget the speakers. So what did I do? I calmly explained to my client what had happened and continued with my setup. I microwaved the chocolate and ended up putting it into a serving platter and let the guests dip their strawberries, their pineapples, and marshmallows into that. It was basically a makeshift fondue pot. So every 15 minutes, I'd go and reheat the chocolate to ensure that it stayed warm and liquid. A few days after that event, I had sent this particular customer a survey where they had the opportunity to rate and review us based upon the level of service they felt they received. Believe it or not, with everything said and done, this customer gave me a 4 out of 5 star review. I'll never forget that. There was also another time, it was a few summers ago, where I was contracted to deliver a ice cream maker for a 10th birthday party at a private residence. I showed up at the client's house, showed them how to operate it, showed them what to do, what not to do, yada, 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 and ended up leaving. After a few hours, the customer called me complaining that the machine wasn't working properly. I troubleshooted all the steps on the phone to the best of my ability, but no luck. The machine still wasn't working. So finally, I just went back to his house and tried to fix the problem there. As it turns out, there was an electrical issue with the machine which caused it not to perform the way it should. So I made my client 2 offers. Either I said, I'll refund your money, or offer to return with another machine, but that would take about 2 hours. He chose the former, but was singing my high praises for the effort that my team and I put forth in order to remedy the problem. So boom, right there, a happy customer that later went on to hire me every summer for his backyard barbecue events. You're probably thinking, well, geez, Conrad, where the hell was your review? All right, well, I'll tell you. Coincidentally, my first bad review happened 2 Decembers ago for a corporate Christmas party. The whole thing stemmed from a misunderstanding from my client. They were under the impression that I was to bring a certain type of cookie to be served at their event. Now, this type of cookie I had never offered, and I made that very clear on my website. But evidently, that was not good enough for this lady who decided to blast me online, for which otherwise was a perfect event. So how do you address this whole thing? When people get negative reviews, one of their first course of action is to try to get their review removed. I can tell you that is a bad idea. The bad review isn't the problem. It's the result of a problem. In my situation, it was the case of the bad cookie. But it also will allow you the opportunity to shine and to show what you're really made of. People can appreciate the fact that people make mistakes and that nothing is perfect. This idea especially works well with customers whom have never used you before and or are torn between choosing you or your competitor. That bad review is a platform to showcase yourself to potential customers. It shows them how well you can handle criticism, how well you react under stress, and how professional you are. As a business owner myself, it's my job to see what my competitors are doing. And while I'll admit nothing makes me happier than seeing them get a negative review, it makes me even happier to see how poorly they dealt with it. One of my competitors, who has a total of about 10 reviews, out of those 10, I believe 4 of them were bad, which is a lot. That's like 90%. No, actually that's more like 40%. Sorry, I'm not very good with math. What you don't want to do is what this guy did, is immediately get defensive and then start listing all the reasons why the upset customer was wrong. Then this joker proceeded to write himself a glowing review as if he was a customer, explaining all the bad reviews that he had received were not true, that people are idiots and that they don't understand and we do good work and blah, 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 blah. Well, if you did such good work, then why the hell were 40% of your reviews bad, Ben? So like I said, bad reviews are not bad. They are just a symptom of a bad result. So what do you do? Let's go back to the cookie lady. Despite me disagreeing with 90% of what she said, I never played defense like my competitor did. Instead, the first thing you should do is thank the person for taking their time in rating you. I know, you really want to tell them to go F themselves, but that's not how this works. You're a professional. Thank them first. Second, apologize that their experience with you was not a good one. Not to be confused with apologizing for what you did. Big difference there. If you did your best, are honest, and owned up to your errors, then you have nothing to be apologetic for. What you're really sorry for is that they had a bad experience with you. So back to the cookie lady. I thanked them, I apologized for not meeting their expectations, and then addressed the overall issues. If I recall, I simply said that our baked goods that we provide are these and not those, and that we do not advertise them as such. We welcome any and all questions prior to your event to ensure the highest level of customer satisfaction. Pictures of our past displays and baked goods can also be found on our social media outlets and on our website. Our objective is to provide exceptional experience for each guest, and when we fall short, it is a serious concern for our entire management staff. We thank you again for bringing these matters to our attention, and we're always looking to improve our services and products. Sincerely, Conrad Agderian, the owner. And that was it. We kept it short, sweet, and to the point. Although in hindsight, I do believe that lady was a pain in the ass though. But you can't make everybody happy. Finally, if you do good work and continue to do good work, these bad reviews will eventually get drowned out with good ones. Focus on getting more positive reviews rather than fretting over the bad ones. Addressing underlying problems, especially in your early years, will help you build a much better and more useful product that customers will love and rave over. As we all know, mistakes happen. So rather than planning to avoid them, you should actually plan for them. And that's the podcast. If you have any suggestions about future topics you would like me to address on the show, you can always email us at thevictorypodcast@gmail.com. Also, please check us out on Facebook and Twitter at VLC Podcast. I'm Conrad Agderian. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you next week.